the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
It's Coffee and here on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday morning. It is the second day of 2025. How about that?
Right.
We're cruising right along. And make sure when you write out checks, you write out 2025.
Who is writing out checks?
You don't write checks still? You still
I write checks, but I don't rush to do it.
Well, I don't rush, but I do. Do you still write checks, Sue?
Oh, some of them you have to.
You do. Yeah, there are some that you still have to write checks
Yeah.
for.
I pay almost everything with a
especially
check.
when you're mailing.
Yeah. You don't pay, I pay most of my bills online.
Me too, but there's
Okay, but there's
medical.
certain things-
Hey, I have a lot of medical, so mine
Bob's
are all
just
through mail.
Shaking his head back and forth.
Mine are all.
Wait till you get to my
what's sitting
commercial.
online?
I don't do any of that online.
Really?
I like to see the paper checks, and there's only one bank in town that I know that will send you back the photocopies of your, not the cancel, but photocopies of your checks, and that's the bank I like to use.
All right. And so you still put them in envelopes and put stamps and send it?
Yep.
Have you ever added up how much money you're paying the U.S. Postal Service in a year?
Yes, I do, for my
okay.
taxes.
Oh, how much are you spending in postage?
I can't tell you right this minute, but I can tell you when it gets close to April 15th.
Is it over $100?
Oh, yes.
Okay, $500?
Could be.
All right. Well, I'm just
Wow.
saying.
Well, it's
that's
an
a lot
office.
Of stamps.
It's
Yeah,
a lot of...
I know. You get a lot of law stuff.
Right.
And that stuff. But I'm talking about your personal stuff.
Oh, personal stuff? Probably very little. I don't know. I'd have to check that out.
Does Gene pay all the bills?
No. We pay all the bills through the office. Not
okay.
that it goes onto my office taxes,
Yeah.
but because it's easier to have my assistant do that.
Look, I'm backpedaling.
I saw that.
So-
Well, see, for me, it's my medical. All the medical bills you have to really send in a check.
Yeah.
You mean some I can go into the portal and pay. So there are different ways.
There are different ways to pay.
I don't
medical,
pay
yeah.
any, like if I have a Lowe's credit card or whatever, none of those are paid in the mail. Those are all online.
Yeah.
When you get to my commercial, I'll talk about some of this issue.
All right. Very good. One of the things I still have to pay by check is my electric bill, because my town is the electric department.
Oh.
So, I found I could pay it online, but it was funny. They were saying like my electric bill was due January 1st.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you pay by January 1st, let's say it's $50.
Yeah.
If you pay it after January 1st, now it's 63 something. They tack on a nice little
that's
chunk of change
quick,
there.
too.
Yeah. And they said all of a sudden I started getting real quick, and all of a sudden I started getting notices on my email. Oh, you can pay it. You don't have to pay by check. You can pay us by your bank online. Oh, okay, but they always put in the higher amount and never the lower amount. I said, hey, and it took me 2 months to figure that out.
Wow.
So I went back to writing out checks. And what's weird is, if I put a stamp on it to send it in the mail, my check goes to Chelsea, Massachusetts, to pay the town of Mansfield. I said, well, I'm sure it makes sense somewhere in the financials,
just like-
somewhere. But right outside the city hall, my town hall, is a box for payments. So once a month, I make a trip to the little box
Yeah.
and throw it in and don't pay and save the postage.
You're a thrifty person.
So that's Bob Lauder over there. Hello, good morning, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Sue Tester McKenzie's here. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
Nice to have both of you with us. Okay, moving on away from
You don't want to
paying
tell
bills
about
online.
what Sue's
and
wearing
stuff.
this morning?
Well, it's kind of reddish and
Reddish
and
plaid.
brown.
It looks great.
Yeah.
It's like a flannel jacket dress kind of combo.
Looks nice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Got it for Christmas.
Oh, that's great. Of course, well, the big story, of course, is the situation that took place in New Orleans over New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. 15 people now
15,
have died?
up to 15
Okay.
last I heard.
And then they had the guy in Vegas that blew up his Tesla outside
Right.
outside the Trump Hotel.
Do they think that was deliberate, or was it a malfunction with the vehicle?
No,
I'm
they
not
think
sure.
that was deliberate.
Come on, a Tesla at Trump Tower. I'm thinking deliberate.
Okay.
And so they keep going back and forth. The thing with New Orleans, first they said it was a terrorist attack. Then they said it wasn't a terrorist attack. Then they said we don't think we think he worked in cahoots with somebody else. And now they're saying, no, we think he worked alone. Can't get a straight answer.
Well, I
from
find
anybody.
it odd that I don't know how long the blocking things, what the hell are
Yeah,
they called?
I forgot what they called.
How long were they down? Because they were talking about them being down.
They were malfunctioning.
Right, but how long? So how did this guy know this, that he could just drive around that police car? Because you had to plan something.
Maybe he saw it streets ahead. Hey, it's not working. Oh, great. This can make it even easier for me.
Maybe.
So I don't know.
Well, the issue as to whether or not it was a terrorist attack is primarily a definition issue by
Yes.
the local authorities or the FBI.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the parameters are for saying it was a terrorist attack, but in my mind, not knowing the parameters, just being on the outside, I would certainly think it was considered a terrorist attack. It was somebody who was deliberately trying to harm as many people as possible
Yes.
in a confined area. Mm-hmm. So,
And what's odd is U.S. born. He's a guy born in Texas,
well, that's
and he was in the army.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'm like, wow. But it looks like he had leaning support. He was a supporter of ISIS.
Yes, they had ISIS flag or whatever it was.
So, and they do what they normally do. He gets out and starts firing a gun, and then the police just take him down.
Which, that's usually a take me down.
It's a suicide by police.
Yeah, it's a take me down.
So I'm sure they'll go into his phone and his computer and try to find everything to see if they can come up with something along of a reasoning for doing this, and it's just that's a shame, and it delayed the Sugar Bowl last night, college football game that was played in New Orleans.
I was such a person not knowing football and stuff. When I saw that it was delayed till Thursday, I was thinking it meant next Thursday.
No.
I wasn't thinking it was meant today. But just
Well,
the same, it's
You got
I can
people
understand
people that fly in just for the game. They've got their hotel reservations. They got their tickets to the game. Next week would probably not be convenient.
Well, not only
for them
that,
to
you
turn around and come
purchased
back.
all the food and
Oh, yeah,
beverages
yeah,
that
for the
you'll
people
be
using.
selling
Yeah.
that there, and
Right.
it involves so much. I was thinking the same thing as you, Bob, that
So-
it would have been delayed longer. But
But they'll bump up the security there for today.
Oh, I
And it's
would
being
imagine
and it's being
so.
played this afternoon.
yeah,
The game isn't being played tonight. I don't know if that makes a difference. And they're having the Super Bowl there
yeah,
in 6
February.
weeks.
okay.
Yeah, down in New Orleans. So
Well, I don't think it's necessarily the location of the venue that is the issue. It's the security that they have to have around any large gathering of people nowadays.
yeah,
And I would expect they do a lot of preparation ahead of time, searching the stadium, making sure that something hadn't been hidden there ahead of time. And then as people go in, doing all the checking like a TSA screening. I haven't been to a major athletic event in years. So
ever.
Well, yeah.
College.
So I don't know what they have to do on screening people, but you have, and you work at those venues. What do you have to do to get in? Do they have is it like TSA where you go through metal detectors? or-
Yes, and the latest, the most recent one would be Polar Park. So we're talking minor league baseball, and still it has come up to the metal detector, take everything out of your pockets,
Okay.
everything, put it in a little dish, so they can look through it. So that's wallet, phone, keys, pens, and
Right.
anything else you might have. Go through the detector, make sure it doesn't beep. If it does, they got the wand ready to go,
Okay.
and then they look in your little bowl, little plastic thing. Okay, wallet, keys, phone. Okay, that's everything. Pick everything back up and walk in.
Do they have to use the clear bags like they do at
It's
Foxborough?
I've seen it. It's not clear bags at Polar Park,
Okay.
but they will ask the women to put their bags on the table,
and
open
send
them
it
up,
through, yeah.
and then this. I don't know if they go through the
I was
detector.
just
I don't think.
somewhere
I think someone just
recently-
looks through it, and I don't know what they're looking for. But
I was literally someplace recently, and it was not a big major event. It was not, and I was surprised that they wanted to look through the bag. Like just a quick glance, but I forget where I was. I'll have to think about that now.
And I worked there, and I still had to go through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though I would see these guys every day, I'm still.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Of course.
Well, they had an issue last summer where someone left what the Worcester police found it, some kind of bomb inside a cooler that was about a block from Polar Park.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Now, why were they even looking up? Was it just an
It was
abandoned
an
cooler?
abandoned
All right,
cooler.
all right.
You just can't leave these things on the street anymore. People are going to say, that's been there for an hour. Come
Yeah.
check it out.
How close is the public parking to the actual venue?
Well, there's a myriad. There's a myriad of parking up in Worcester, and there's the park, there's a street, there's an open field, for lack of a better word, and then there's a parking garage. So the closest parking garage is about 100 yards, maybe 200 yards from the park.
All right.
But
300 to 600 feet away.
That situation was not near. It was up the road and like around a corner. If it had exploded, it wouldn't have affected the park.
No, but I was thinking
any way.
if I had a vehicle that I had rigged so that it would explode at certain times,
Okay.
is the vehicle close enough to cause damage to the park or
No,
the venue?
it would only cause damage to the parking garage if it was
Okay.
in it. There is parking for 5 minutes or so right near the park. You'd have to time that pretty quick, but you're only allowed like 5 minutes. And there's always security walking up and down. Usually those spots are reserved for buses that are dropping people off.
Right.
Okay, get everybody off the bus and then move on. You go park, go get out of here. You're gonna go park somewhere else. So yeah, it's still everywhere.
Wow.
So could they do damage there if someone were to drive into people? They could if they timed it right, I guess.
Or if they were willing to sacrifice their life, such as the man apparently at the Trump Plaza in Las Vegas.
That's right. And it has something to do in Vegas with the less damage was because of the construction of those new Tesla vehicles. And it didn't explode up, it exploded like down.
Oh, wow.
It's all in the design. They said he was using the wrong vehicle for that kind of thing. If he
Wow.
wanted to cause more damage. Like, wow. Elon came out and said that.
Well, but using a Tesla, there's a message there.
I think
I would
think
suspect
there
it
is.
was if it was deliberate. Yeah.
It was so, and
Yeah.
it's just we were all hoping 2025 was going to be better. You always hope that at the beginning of the year, and then bang right off the bat, we have 15 people killed,
Well,
who are out trying to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always scary like that. I figured out, though, my 2024, I was like a hamster. A little hamster and a little spin in the wheel.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, you're freaking spinning around,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
flopping through, and then you fall out the wheel, but you always get back in. You
back on the
always
wheel?
get back in.
What are your resolutions for 2025?
Oh, I never make resolutions.
I broke mine yesterday.
No, so
I'm out. I'm out.
Whoa.
it just has never really worked out when I made resolutions. So.
You know what? The easiest resolution,
What's that?
do better, be better.
Oh, that's right. Or
In a
stay-
nutshell,
I'm going to stay the nice person I
do
already
better,
am.
be better.
Wait a minute.
How's that, Bob?
Wait,
And
wait,
if you
wait.
fail, then tomorrow's another day. Do better, be better.
He
That's
said
it.
he's going to stay the nice person he always has been.
There you go. Makes sense, doesn't it, Sue?
Yeah, do better, be better.
There you go.
You,
I don't
you
know,
can
that-
always
that's-
do better.
That's built on some very
You
shaky
can always
pilings.
do better.
That's right. You can always be a better person. That's right.
Always do better.
Here's $1.
Right?
I'm a better
Whoa.
person. All right. We're going to take a break here at the Coffee and Program. More is coming your way, and you can call in your comments and questions at 766-1240.
Well, the new year has arrived and the frantic celebration is behind us, and we can just settle down to some good old-fashioned jazz at Chan's Restaurant on Main Street in Woonsocket. Kick off the new year on a high note with the amazing Papa Chubby. Tomorrow night, Friday, January 3rd, 35 in advance, 40 at the door. Then the next night, Saturday, January 4th, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Chan's, world-class jazz super sextet led by the Prince of Bebop, And our own local guy, Greg Abate, 25 in advance and 30 at the door. Great entertainment at Chan's all year long, and great food too. Chan's, 267 Main Street, Woonsocket.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first. And he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee In on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us on the second day of January 2025. Joe Callahan here, along with Bob Belotter and Sue Tesser McKenzie. And Sue, time for your first message from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times newspaper.
Good morning. Nice to be here in the beginning of the year. Now that PTO and vacation time has come to an end, the office will have more regular hours, but Fridays can be iffy because oftentimes my coworker does have to, work from home, work remotely. But if you need anything at all, a back issue of the newspaper, you need to put in an obituary, call my cell phone, 487-4136. If I can't help you, I will find somebody that can. Again,
right.
487-4136.
Thanks, Sue. Well, with the new year starting, we got new laws, Bob.
Great.
That you need to be aware of.
Wonderful.
Maybe not, but All right. The exemption for taxable retirement income has now increased from $20,000 to $50,000.
That's good for me.
Okay.
Not that I earn that kind of money in retirement, but I am over the age of 65 and will take any kind of tax break I can get.
Okay. Residents of nursing homes and assisted living facilities may now choose to have cameras installed in their rooms so their families can monitor what's going on.
There are some states that already do that, and that is an amazing thing.
Good thing. Mm-hmm.
An Echo, an Alexa, anything that you can keep that contact and visual.
You like that one, Bob?
Well, getting close to the age where I might actually need a retirement home, one of the creepiest things I can think of is having my daughter stare at me in the middle of the night. It's not something I'd particularly, as a patient, want to do, but that's a personal
right.
choice.
Well, I
I can
think
see
that
the
it's not
security and
mandatory.
safety part for it.
It's not mandatory, but it's done. Like, I know a lot of people whose loved ones have brain injuries and are in facilities. So having the camera, ensures that they're getting the care they need.
Right.
I think that's the difference. It's
not being abused.
Exactly. I mean, if you're with the program and you're good and, all that, and you're just there, to get assistance, but not dependent on every move you make.
Oh, I can
It's
see
different.
the value of it. Yes.
Yeah, it's different.
okay.
It's different depending on circumstance.
Debt collectors are now prohibited from reporting all medical debt to credit bureaus.
Whoa.
Great.
Our own
And I wrote all those damn checks yesterday.
Melissa Murray was a big proponent of that. I think she was sponsored that bill to push that through. So that is a good thing.
It is a good thing
I mean,
because
you still owe the money,
right,
but it doesn't affect your credit.
And I pay. Obviously, I have insurance. I pay the deductibles. I mean, that's just a common sense issue. I currently do have issues with some that, if you're in a nursing home for rehab and you fall and require an ER visit and a doctor's, looking at you, and then you get the bill for everything, I have a problem with that because he was in your care.
Your care,
Why
they-
am I getting this bill? And a nurse from that facility looked at him to make sure the head wound looked okay, and I got a bill from them. So these things I'm having a problem with. Those I have not paid. And I'm going to go see my insurance and say, well, this ain't right. Something's not right here.
All right. And one of the other new laws, state's minimum wage will increase to $15 an hour over a period of 4 years. So it's not going to jump immediately to 15.
It's been
Damn it,
going
I
up.
thought I was going to get a raise.
It's been going up every year, I think, for the last 5 years or so.
Yeah, I
This is
think
just
so.
coming to the end of that 5-year cycle.
So, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think it started off with $11 an hour about 5
So
years
we're
ago.
going to
So
get
it
to
moved
15.
up.
Okay.
Right.
So that about,
So when do they get to 15?
I guess now.
Right now, then.
So
You're not telling my staff anything about this, are you?
it's up to you, Bob. It's your staff. But that burger at McDonald's is going to cost more money.
Well, don't get me started.
All right, I won't get into the well, that's just some of the new stuff going on. This was not a good thing. There was a head-on crash in Cranston last night, as a matter of fact. Happened on Pontiac Avenue, where a Toyota Corolla according to the police, crossed the roadway and hit a GMC Yukon. Yukons are good-sized vehicles, by the way, and Corollas are kind of small. And this is why the person in the Yukon only suffered minor injuries, where the woman in the Toyota Corolla was unconscious, not wearing a seatbelt, and the police found open alcohol containers, which sounds like more than one.
Is that the
in
one that crossed the line?
Toyota. Yes, she crossed the line and hit the GMC Yukon. It's like, wow, no seatbelt and open containers of alcohol. I guess she's the only one in the car. They don't say there were other people in the car as well, but it's like, oh boy.
They talk about not driving on New Year's Eve. The most scary incident I ever had in driving a car happened on New Year's Eve on Great Road in North Smithfield. This goes back more than 40 years because it was where I met my wife. And a vehicle coming from the opposite direction swerved right into
Your lane?
my lane of traffic. And if I hadn't, gone off the side of the road, it would have been a collision. That was really scary to me. And
Did you get back on the road okay? Or you didn't get a flat tire?
oh
or
no,
anything on this
I was
deal?
able to get back on the road, but I was just very fortunate that
Yeah. Wow.
we were able to avoid that. But it was, for me, really terrifying.
Well, Pontiac Avenue, if you've ever been there in Cranston, is a very crowded road.
Yeah.
With businesses on both sides, utility poles. Maybe if they swerved, they would have hit something else. So you got to pick your poison. What do I hit, or what gets hit?
Right.
And then maybe you think, well, I've got the big car, so maybe I'll be okay.
Right.
So
That wasn't the first thing that flashed through my mind when that occurred, that I have the big car.
no, you probably say I got to get out of the way.
Right.
Okay. Do you know anybody that likes to do these penguin plunges on New Year's Day?
I used to drive people for that.
Are you in your limousine business? Let's go
Yep.
down to South County and jump in the
Yep.
ocean.
I did. A lot of it was. Is it Jamestown? I think that does the penguin plunge. I'm trying to think because they're all.
The big one moved. They moved over to Narragansett now. The penguin plunge is now. I'm sorry. Yeah, Narragansett. The penguin plunge is now at Scarborough.
Okay.
So they've gone
it
away
wasn't
from
Scarborough
Jamestown.
before that. I
No,
know. I can't
okay.
remember where it was, but I
does
remember
a lot.
driving the penguin plunge.
Okay.
And they all had like penguin hats and dressed in like just a tuxedo shirt with the white thing. Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Now, how high do you have the heater on in the limo when you're coming back from those things?
Oh, I didn't let them in that easily. They're soaking wet, full of seawater,
dry off
sea
first.
salt, and salt water and everything. No, they didn't come in that quickly. But I would stand there with a towel and help them dry off. Absolutely.
We'll be here tomorrow. We'll hear from Melissa Murray, who'll be on the coffee and program, and she does this. She goes to Salty Brine State Beach and dips in there.
Which one was Salty Brian? Do you know
I think it's Special Olympics, but I'm not positive on that.
I wish I could
don't-
remember
I don't know.
specifics on this one because the one I remember is, of course, everybody's in a bar drinking at the time, and I'm trying to think of where I had brought these people. And at Jamestown, nothing there is hitting me nearby, that was the place. So yeah, I don't remember where it
Now,
was.
in the bar, drinking beforehand to get the
Oh, God,
courage,
yeah.
or afterwards?
Oh
to,
yeah,
to-
oh yeah, oh yeah. It
I
was
think I think that's stopped now.
it was
They
well,
go so
maybe
early-
that's why it's
they
been
go so
moved to
early in the morning.
Scarborough. But that was the party. It was a whole event, and everybody had penguin. One guy I'll never forget had a hat on, and he had like little penguins floating on his hat. So when he turned, the little penguins were all over the place. Yep.
Any interest? You guys ever
No.
doing this ever?
Oh God, no.
we could ask you, man. When have you done any of this?
Oh no,
Wait a minute.
it's bad enough me trying to get in the ocean in August. Water's too
Well,
cold.
I don't mind the water being cold. I'm always, when you get taken out by a wave at any point in your life,
Yeah.
you think twice.
All right.
You think twice. So when you saw your life flash before your eyes,
Maybe that's why Melissa goes to Salty Brine. There's no big waves at
No.
that one. The breakwaters are right
No.
there. Scarborough.
those little waves
though.
those little waves are good. See, I go to to South Kingston, and they have waves.
Well,
They
yeah.
have waves. That's where the houses get taken out at Roy's.
Well, as Melissa told us last time she was on Monday, she already looking ahead. Noontime was going to be low tide, which they all hate because it's a long walk out.
Yeah.
To get to where the water is.
You
And
wanna
then it's
just
that-
jump
Then it's that
in.
long walk back as you're freezing cold.
Yeah, high tide's definitely better.
High tide is better. Low tide.
Because
is
all you
not
got to
so
do,
much.
you don't have to swim. You
Oh,
just
no.
got to
Go
get
in
yourself
and get-
wet and come back out.
And I asked her, does she go under? And she says she does. I said, but not everybody does. And
No.
Sometimes they go up to their waist and then they splash water on themselves. I said, that's not the same.
No,
You
don't
gotta
don't
go-
get
if you're
loose.
gonna
You got to
do
get up
this,
to your shoulders.
Go underwater. Yeah, and you don't swim around. Although I'm sure some do.
Some do.
But they just come right. They get right out after that. So.
Run out into real cold water up to your shoulders.
However,
Okay.
but if the
Great way to start the
but
new
if,
year.
But if the temperature is like 50 degrees,
Yeah.
the water temperature is about 50 degrees, so everything's the same.
But for years, though,
No.
New Year's Eve, when I had the limos, boy, I'll tell you, some of the most frigid days, nights were New Year's Eve. And the following day, like here I am with clients on New Year's Eve day, did weddings, nights out, and then the following morning I have to pick people up, and I'd be like, oh, God, no.
Yeah.
It's just like frigid, like in the 20s.
Jeez.
All right. So they had a little excitement over at Logan Airport. You noticed on New Year's Eve we had a lot of lightning and things going on. Well, there was a flight that was going from Newark, New Jersey to over to England, and they think they were hit by lightning,
Really?
the plane. So they landed at Logan
Oh, no kidding.
to check out the plane, make sure everything was okay.
Right.
And apparently everything was. There were about 100 passengers on the flight when it landed safely at Logan on Tuesday night. No injuries reported. And they worked with the passengers, get them on to their final destination. So I guess a little hour or so down on the ground. Okay, back up, and we're off to England.
I remember years and years ago coming back from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, during a thunderstorm. That was the most terrifying experience I've ever had in a plane, not only because of the turbulence, but because of the thunder and the lightning that was going on around it.
Yeah, I never had that.
That was really more than exciting.
Have you had so much turbulence where people were getting sick on the plane?
I don't recall that.
I've
no.
had that.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Yeah,
No.
not fun. So, and it was a small plane, where two people on one side, then there's the aisle,
Right.
and two people on the other side.
Okay.
So that's it, small plane. So I'm in the aisle seat, and the woman across the aisle from me, also in the aisle seat, she got sick,
Oh, jeez.
and it was I was coming from Indianapolis and flying into Newark, as a matter of fact, worst turbulence I've ever had on an airplane, and she was with a college softball team that was coming back from obviously Indianapolis, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, and she was so embarrassed. But
Of course she was.
she knew she was going to get sick, so they were able to get her a bag beforehand.
Right.
And I was wondering, should I do something? But now that she got sick, there's like 15 other girls that want to help. I said, I'm just in the way.
I'm out. Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
you all have it. It's your friend. You know her. She doesn't need a strange middle-aged guy
right?
looking after her. So,
But to
go
get
ahead.
sick can occur, between boats. I remember doing a Father's Day cruise
Mm-hmm.
with my husband and kids, and people around us are over the side of the boat.
Yeah.
I mean, they got sick. Now you're looking at a different kind of turbulence.
Yeah.
But
So bad that the pilot came on and said, suspend the drinks.
Yeah.
Because it's too dangerous. All flight attendants get in your seats, and you
Yeah.
buckle up.
Yeah.
Unless there's an emergency you have to get up for. So because it was that bad.
Wow.
And I'm like, I cannot wait to get off this plane.
right,
And then
well, that's scary in itself.
and then I had another flight. I had to go from Newark to Providence, which is obviously a very short flight.
Yeah,
It's
but
it's
still,
under an hour,
you're
but I got to
still-
go back up into this, and the storm is
Yeah.
the wind was going on. It was windy like today.
You're already traumatized.
I'm like,
You're
I just-
traumatized from the first flight. Now you got to take the
Yeah.
second one.
And it's the first time I got off the plane, and my connecting flight was the exact same plane
Oh, for
and
God's
the exact same gate. I'm just going to get right back on, and sit in a different seat.
Right.
was
So I'm
just
like,
gonna
I'm right
say,
here.
You know what?
There
You're
was
not
about 3
gonna
of us
sit.
that do that.
Yeah, but you know
I
what?
know.
They
That's right.
sometimes they get you off just so they can clean up the
They
plane.
gotta clean it
Forget
up,
the
yeah.
vomit part of it. Just
Yeah.
they clean up the plane.
Yeah.
So.
Have you been on a flight with thunder and lightning, Sue?
No,
No.
I was on a little. There was a little cruise, international. Oh my God, my brain just went south. It was a Norwegian cruise out of Boston.
All right.
Mo, you remember Mo?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Ronzo, Yeah.
He was the one that said, "Hey, there's this cruise to nowhere, cheap money, and you can take it. Leaves in Boston, and it just goes along the
spins
coast,
around,
whatever."
Comes back. Okay.
And I will never forget. So we were heading up. Well, first we had issues because 2 people died on the boat.
Oh, gee.
That was the first thing. So I'm on, the phone, the computer. Lucy's already in Boston trying to find out what's going on. So now we're rounding the bend at 93, heading into Boston. And on the radio, I now hear, and the nor'easter will be. And I'm like, so my husband looked at me. My jaw is just, I'm stunned. And he said, "You okay? What's going on?" I'm like, effing speechless right now. I never heard about a nor'easter. Well, let me tell you, the perfect storm, that out my window on
Yeah,
that
just the
ship.
waves and stuff. Wow.
It was something that you're laying in bed, and then all of a sudden you're going like this. Please come back down, 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 because you're like standing in the
Yeah.
bed.
How did I
It
get? How did I
was-
get vertical?
It was, like you said, the scariest flight you had.
Yeah.
The scariest,
Whoa.
True.
yeah.
Boat
Yeah.
ride. Wow.
How
Yeah.
long did the cruise last?
3 days, but the next morning, it was a Halloween weekend. It was like October 28th or something. And the next morning, you could see the storm out by the Cape.
Oh, okay.
You could see it. But for us, it shows where we went, on the screen in the room. So we basically ran up the coast. So we went into Gloucester, down to the Cape. I don't think we went past the Cape, if I recall, but Gloucester back. That's pretty much was the route. Whereas it was supposed to go further out than that was, the premise. It was 3 days, 2 nights and 3 days. So, yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a break here in the Coffee and program. So, Sue, time for a second message, please, from the Blackstone Valley Call and Times.
Again, new year, new advertising specials. We do have digital. We've got some health and wellness specials. We've got a lot coming up. We do run a special for many of our small businesses. It's for winter. It's your slowest time. So we do have some nice special packages for that if anybody's interested in getting more info, whether it's me dropping it off or emailing it to you. I can even text it to you. Call my cell phone at 401-487-4136. You need any obituaries, any memoriams, back issues of the paper, you can call Christina at the office at 767-8503.
Thanks, Sue. More of Coffee and coming your way. Right now, time for the forecast being brought to you by Unbound.org.
The National Weather Service has issued a wind advisory today for wind gusts out of the west up to 50 miles per hour. Mostly sunny skies today with a high of 41. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 26, winds diminishing. Friday's weather, sunshine and 37. Saturday, mostly sunny and 31. Sunday, sunshine and 32. Monday, partly sunny with a high of 31. Tuesday, sunshine and 30. And next Wednesday, mostly sunny skies, high for the day, 30 degrees.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have sunny skies and 36 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor, an elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own at unbound.org.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
When you're thinking about a place to go out to eat with your family or the whole gang, or maybe something quieter for just the two of you, head over to ON Radio's website, woonsocketradio.com, and click on the restaurant guide. This gives you a listing of the best restaurants in the area. You can take a look at menus and possibly even make reservations. This is a great resource to see a bunch of restaurants all in one place. Remember, it's woonsocketradio.com and click on Restaurant Guide. And if you own a restaurant that's not already listed, call WOON Radio at 401-762-1240 for information on how your restaurant can be on the Restaurant Guide. Call Joe at 401-762-1240.
All right, Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Sue Tessier McKenzie and Bob Lauder. And all right, Bob, you're up. First time for first message from your law office, please.
Good morning. Thank you. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to begin 2025 with a word of caution which arises from a personal experience and also refers back to an earlier conversation we had today. Just last week, I received a telephone call alleging that Rhode Island Energy, the utility company from which my office receives both gas and electric services, had not received payments for the last 2 months, and a work order had been issued to disconnect the services unless I immediately paid a significant amount of money. And the money could be paid in the form of withdrawal on a credit card or a debit card. Now, fortunately, I'm blessed not only with an old-dated aversion to online banking and debit cards, but also a fantastic assistant who rushed to me copies of checks which had been sent to Rhode Island Energy on the accounts. I terminated the call before receiving detailed information on how I could bring the money to a local store to pay the alleged debts, and called Rhode Island Energy instead. The representative of Rhode Island Energy was able to locate my accounts and advise me that I was not in arrears on any of the payments. However, the original initial caller sounded very official, and had I not taken the time to contact Rhode Island Energy, I might very well have provided debit card information to the individual who would have diverted the funds for an illicit purpose. In substance, the initial call was a scam. My unsolicited advice: in the event you receive a call of any type on any account alleging an arrearage and demanding payment, please contact the original creditor directly and verify the facts concerning your account. Do not rely upon the allegations made in any unsolicited call, and do not be intimidated by threats that the services may be disconnected or litigation may be filed against you. The unsolicited call is most likely a scam. Parenthetically, when I told the scammer that I did not use credit cards or debit cards, the scammer suggested that someone else in the office would probably be willing to let me make the charges on their debit card.
That's a great idea.
Right?
Obviously, he didn't know my staff. If you think my office may be of assistance to you with legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder, and my telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
So I want to point out two things.
Okay.
Yes.
The text in Bob's message is getting bigger. I just noticed that it's bigger from the last time I saw his
The
text.
font's getting
No,
getting
the font.
bigger. That's funny.
That comes
Number
along.
two, that happened to me, but the funny thing for me is I had just paid the bill
Right.
over the phone, 'cause this was quite a few years ago. Over the phone, I paid it, and an hour later, I get that call.
Wow.
So, yeah, I said, sorry.
Well, it sounded very official at first.
They
and
always do.
I should have been
What's your
tipped
name
off by
again?
the by the slightly Middle Eastern accent that came along with it. But just the same, if I hadn't been thoughtful, I could very well have said,
Sure.
yeah,
Oh,
I'll pay
okay,
this and
hang
bring
on.
it up to date. And but the part about having somebody in the office allow me to use it,
That's
and that's
awesome. That's
really
so funny.
that really was suggested.
Okay.
That was a
thinking,
giveaway.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah, I'll do that. Well, just next time say I double dog dare you. Okay, shut off the lights. Go ahead, give it a shot.
Right?
All right, I wanted to get Bob's opinion on this, and I brought it up yesterday.
Does
brought
this
it up
have
the day
anything to do
before.
with football?
Nothing to do with football.
Oh, rats.
New law.
A new law.
New law in Oklahoma. All right.
Okay, I think I know what this one's coming at.
About
Yep.
the graduation requirements.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard this, Sue. There's a new law in Oklahoma. To graduate high school in Oklahoma, you have to, well, obviously get good grades.
Yeah.
That's number one. But also, you now have your three choices. You need to be accepted to college, accepted to a trade school, join the Army. How legal is this, Bob? That's what it comes down to. And they do say it is a law in Oklahoma.
I would imagine that the qualifications for high school graduation are set up and administered probably by some type of Department of Education
There is.
in the state. So they can certainly change the requirements. They could lower the standards that you had to be. They could say you didn't have to be able to read or write or speak English, and yet you can still graduate as long as you spent the 12 years in the education system. I suppose that it may be legal the way it is to increase the requirements after graduation, but I think personally that is a disastrous decision.
We are in total
and
agreement.
on the part of
Complete disaster. So what if somebody can't afford college? What if somebody has hardships that they have to work to help the family because husband passed away, or
There's all
there's
sorts
so
of that.
many issues there.
What if they just were going into, I graduate from high school, I have a job in retail,
Right.
I'd like to continue to do this. I don't want to spend the money that it's going to cost me to make an application to a college, even if I get accepted in college and then decide not to go. I think there's all kinds of reasons why that
Yeah.
should not be a law.
Absolutely.
Well, going forward, it is, and now the key part is you need to be approved. I'm not approved, accepted
Right.
to a college or a trade school. You don't have to go.
Oh, okay.
You just need to apply and get in at some community college or some junior college or whatever college of your choosing. Show the letter of acceptance to your school. Okay, you can now graduate.
Now, is this as a means of getting grades up?
No, it's I read an article on it, and the principal, I'm sorry, the governor, it's a launching pad. He doesn't want slackers coming out of high school doing nothing. It's a way to launch to a career of some sort. So you have a plan to do something after high school. And it comes up with a lot of, like you said, and we came up with them all, I think, going into the family business.
So many things.
What if I want to be an artist or a musician? What if I want to go to Hollywood and be an actor? McDonald's. You want to go into their management? They'll send you to McDonald's University.
Right,
to
exactly.
teach you how to run that job.
Yeah, there's
you don't
there's
need
too much
this.
open-endedness.
But I'm like, I just wanted to get Bob's opinion on the.
I think it's a disastrous move.
Well, are they going to be? You think they'll be facing lawsuits?
Well, I expect
on
so.
this one?
Yeah, I would think they would be by students who say, okay, you're changing the parameters at the last minute. Here I am in
At the very
the
last
11th
minute.
grade,
Right.
and I'm anticipating graduating next year. I fulfilled all the requirements that were in force up until now, and now you've changed the rules, and I have to do something further.
Yeah.
And it's my recollection, and it's very foggy, that back in the late 60s, when I was graduating from high school and going into college, that, of course, the Vietnam War was raging at that time. And there was a couple of schools in the Midwest who were notorious for accepting students who didn't have to do hardly anything, but their acceptance would give them
Kept
a
them out of the
student
draft.
deferment
Okay,
and
yeah.
keep them out of the draft eligibility for a number of years. and I can't recall the name of the schools now, but that was a way of trying to skirt around other problems that were coming up in kids' lives.
John Ward looked this up yesterday for us on the the other graduation requirements in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Maybe you'd be glad you don't live in Oklahoma, but
Right?
because one of the graduation requirements out there is the student has to pass the U.S. naturalization and immigration test. For people that come in from outside the country, they got to become U.S. citizens. The way to do it, you got to pass this test. That test is administered to the high school students, and they have to pass it.
I would not necessarily object to that.
No, I think that's actually a pretty
because
good idea.
I would think that if you had good government and, civics
civics.
classes during the
You
last
should
3 or
be
4 years of high school, you should be able to pass that kind of a test.
And they allow it. You can start, the students there can start taking this test in the 8th grade. Take it as many times as you want. You can fail it as often as you want, or as often as you can. But as soon as you get a passing grade of 60 or higher, and there's 100 questions, get 60 questions right, and you've got it. And you can take it at as many times as you think you need to, in order to
That
pass.
I would think would be appropriate. I think a kid getting out of high school should be grounded in the civics and how that works in government.
I think
and how
that's
it
a
works.
great idea
Yeah.
for that. But the mandatory college trade school army is just what? So
Yeah.
all right, moving on to other things, bringing it back here. I'm seeing that I see it online, and people are complaining about the homeless encampments around the city of Woonsocket. I'm hearing the Dignity Bus might be up and running.
I've
what have you heard, Sue?
I've heard that it's supposed to be up and running. I guess it can hold 20 people. Or, there's little barricade,
Yeah.
something. But talking about homelessness, I think everybody has the thought process that they're addicts or druggies and alcoholics, and they don't want help, and so on and so forth. I met somebody yesterday. Now, I want to make one thing clear. I don't know these people. I don't even know their names. But I see a young man pushing a woman in a wheelchair. And I know what those things are like to push. It's transport, so those are tough. And so finally got the opportunity to stop him, because I thought he lived possibly in the neighborhood. So I just wanted to stop and say, hey, you get help, you get resources, maybe I can refer you. I can't get help, but maybe I can help somebody else get some resources. Come to find out, he's homeless. They are homeless. She is in a wheelchair, and they are homeless. It kind of makes you sad, but nice kid, well-spoken. Didn't strike me as a person that does drugs at all, but just trying to do the right thing. And as we often mention on air, people become homeless due to the outrageous cost of rent. And that's what his problem is right now. Nice kid. 4-year wait to get into housing.
4 years.
4-year wait is what he said to me. I was stunned. I mean, she is clearly disabled in a wheelchair, and I just don't get it. I mean, the Dignity Bus. Come on, help people like that, especially. But they want the help. A lot of the homeless encampments, they don't want the help.
Right, but some do.
They want to be left alone. But there are others that do, and I've always said the face of homelessness needs to change.
Yeah.
It's not all about addicts and alcoholics that just want to, go out and beg for food and money and whatnot. There are people that are seriously out there struggling with rents and mortgages, etc., that end up homeless because they're not getting enough assistance. And I say this all the time, and I'm saying it again. If anybody has a clue as to what resources I may possibly give these people, because now I look for them, so I'd be more than happy to stop and try to help them out. Get 4 years for a person in a wheelchair to be homeless is a little.
It's a long time.
4 days, 4 weeks, 4 months is a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, call me, 487-4136.
All right, we're going to take another break here on the Coffee AM program, so we're going to get to, let's see if I agree with Bob on this one. Another message from attorney Bob Lauder.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. The second case I'd like to discuss with you this morning is that of the last individual who was ever officially executed in the state of Rhode Island. The case is that of John Gordon. On a cold afternoon of New Year's Eve in 1843, the badly bludgeoned body of a prominent textile manufacturer, Amasa Sprague, was found in a snowbank in the Knightsville section of Cranston. His face had been so heavily battered that he was almost unrecognizable. Suspicion fell upon the Gordon brothers, Nicholas and John. Nicholas operated a small store which sold alcohol to the workers at Sprague's factory. The workers would come to the store during their lunch break and return to the factory intoxicated. 6 months before the murder, Sprague, using the influence of his brother William, had convinced the Cranston City Council to suspend Nicholas' liquor license, and the action of this severely diminished the trade in Nicholas' store. At the time, there was a virulent bias on the part of the Yankee working class against the immigrant class of Irish workers, and Gordons were Irish. The murder of Amasa Sprague was viewed as a revenge killing, and based on the ever-changing accusations of a young woman who earned her life as a prostitute, both John and Nicholas and a third brother, William, were charged with the crime. William and John were tried together, and the jury found William to be not guilty, but convicted John of the murder. The trial of Nicholas did not take place until after the execution of John, and resulted in a hung jury. Among the errors, in modern eyes, committed at John's trial were the instructions of the judge to the jury to give greater weight to the Yankee witnesses and the better half than to the Irish witnesses. 7 years after the execution of John Gordon, the legislature of the state of Rhode Island abolished the death penalty. And in June of 2011, Rhode Island Governor Lincoln Chafee signed a proclamation of pardon for John Gordon. If you think my office may be assistance to you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer: the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
I don't know if you know the answer to this, Bob, but what method did they use in Rhode Island on the last execution?
Hanging.
It was hanging.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if it was firing squad at that time or not.
I don't think there are very many states that ever used firing squad.
You always see that in the movies, the Old West.
I think that
Put 'em up
primarily
against the wall.
it's been until electrocution came along in the early 20th century. I think it's
hanging.
mostly hanging.
Okay. All right, we're going to take a break here on the Coffee and Program. More coming your way. Stay tuned.
Guiding and assisting a family as they honor and celebrate the life of someone they love is our mission at Menard Locouture Funeral Homes. From personalized memorial cards, video tributes, to individual requests, such as the presence of sporting gear or even a motorcycle in front of the funeral home, we are able to walk with you as you make decisions at a difficult time. As you plan a loving remembrance for one close to you, Menard Locouture Funeral Home will be there for you.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruisin' Bruce Palmer, and I'd love to have you join me every Saturday for the Saturday Block Party. We start at 4 o'clock when I open up the ON Music Vault for you to pick whatever you want to hear or send to somebody special. Yes, the good old radio request days are back. Join me for the Saturday Block Party, Saturdays from 4 until 7 on ON Radio and streaming online at woonsocketradio.com.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Callahan here with Bob Lauder and Sue Tesher McKenzie. You know, you always want to start off the new year on the right foot and make sure, so you move forward and have a good year. But this woman in North Carolina had it tough. She's in her home in Concord, North Carolina. That's outside Charlotte, by the way. And she wants to put some eye drops. Maybe she has some dry eyes. Okay? And instead of picking up the bottle with the eye drops, right next to it, in the same shape of the eye drop bottle, is the nail glue. And she put glue in her eyes. Please be careful.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure that's what she said. So, She doesn't realize the mistake until she squirts her eyes with the glue, which obviously is going to now seal your eyelids together.
Oh, jeez.
Well, now it's off to the. This is a trip to the ER. You got to go for this one. Doctors are saying it could take up to 7 weeks before her eye will be able to open. I don't know if she's going to require surgery or what. I don't know. I don't know why they got to wait 7 weeks, and then not until then they can check for damage.
Well, yeah,
Look
because
at an ophthalmologist and see if she's blind.
Yeah, because the glue itself, the solution can break down. Obviously, if you put fake nails on, they can come off.
Yeah.
But what you're going to use for the solution to break down the glue is certainly going to make you blind.
But it says nail glue, so this is stuff used in construction. This is the heavy
Oh,
duty.
no, nail.
Fingernail.
Fingernail.
Okay, let me clarify.
Okay.
Nails.
Oh, I'm thinking
Bob.
the wrong kind of nail.
I mean, nails,
You're probably
Joe.
right, because that would make
Nails,
sense.
Joe.
Right, that the eyedropper and the nail glue
Exactly.
would be in the same shape. All right, and be next to each other on the shelf. I
Because
guess. Okay.
technically,
I see.
they don't make nail glue. They make
I
they make
didn't know.
wood glue for construction.
That's right. Okay, makes more sense now. But still, imagine going around 7 weeks with one eye closed
No,
because you can't open your eye.
Both eyes closed.
But it's not only.
Oh no, she
you know,
only
it's
put
only
it.
one.
She only put it in one.
Oh, all
and
right.
realized her mistake. Immediately.
Oh, all right. Okay.
So no, she didn't put it in both eyes.
Oh, all right.
So she
Yeah,
can-
that's. Oof.
Does it say anything about Joe that he doesn't know the difference and he's thinking carpentry instead of?
I have the. I
cosmetic?
went right to carpentry.
Good thing.
You're here.
I was here.
Yes.
Good thing I was here today.
Good thing you're here every time.
Because Bob, you would have gone right along with them. Good
He
thing
probably
I
would
was
have if you weren't here. He'd be, oh yeah, nail glue. Yeah. All right. How about this for an excuse, Bob? A man accused of stabbing his adult son to death in an apartment in Vegas claims his son fell on the knife.
How many times did this son fall on the knife?
How many times are knives sticking up out of the floor? Let's see. That's according to the news report from the police. The victim was stabbed in the chest December 22nd. Police found the alleged murder weapon, a kitchen knife, hidden behind an ice cooler outside of the father's and son shared apartment. The suspect is 81.
Holy
Easy.
Okay.
81-year-old
We're going to need a bleeper button today.
Juan Garcia Hernandez allegedly told his son's girlfriend that his son had fallen on the knife and injured himself. Garcia Hernandez was arrested on suspicion of open murder with a deadly weapon. He was also arrested on suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon and domestic violence this past May after allegedly threatening and chasing people with a butcher knife. So,
Remember the song in the
He
musical
fell on it.
Chicago where one of the women in the jail is talking about how her boyfriend had impaled himself on the knife by accident many times.
Many times.
Yes, I've forgotten the song, but I just remember
Yeah,
that.
I do know now that you say it.
Yep. Okay.
in my house, the knives are all, put away, and even if you fell on the knife drawer, the knife won't go into you. It's
Right. No, my knives aren't sitting
it's
on the
worth-
counter. They're in
Ouch.
the
It's
drawer.
worthy of a defense. You can
I
come up
guess you
with
can
something.
use it. All right.
That's-
Well, see, I occasionally might say, do you really want to go down that road while I'm cutting vegetables?
And just, shaking the knife to make a point.
But even then, you can't fall on it.
You can't
I
fall
don't
on
think
it.
I ever want to interrupt my wife when she's working in the kitchen. I prefer to be in the other room and just enjoying the fruits of her labor.
No, there you go. Sue, a new study shows the female hormone estrogen can prompt women to consume a large amount of alcohol. It's all because of the estrogen. This is researchers at Weill Cornell Medicine say their data published in Nature Communications could spur different approaches for treating alcohol abuse disorder. The study indicates estrogen causes women to, quote, pregame, making them drink large amounts in the first half hour after the alcohol is offered. Researcher and Professor Kristen Pleal says the study shows what might be the first explanation for sex-related differences in binge drinking. So the women drink a lot quickly at the beginning and then stop, where men spread it out. All right. The study involved researchers serving alcohol to lab mice while they tracked their estrogen levels.
So all right, I'm going to sound really dumb considering I'm a woman. The estrogen levels go down as you age.
Okay.
I'm asking.
believe so, because people
Right,
take it.
right. I know. That's why this is too easy.
Yeah.
So they're doing this younger when their estrogen levels are higher, which is, kind of.
You're doing it in mice. I mean,
Right. Well, what it is I know a few women in their 50s that sadly did just that and ended up passing because of too much.
And they just make the large pitchers of margaritas and drink it quickly within 30 minutes. And they're trying to blame
See,
the
I've
time on estrogen.
I couldn't do that.
So, well, I don't know. That's what they talk about pre-gaming it. Just drinking a lot in 30 minutes. So,
Wow.
who knows? Who knows? But that study's out there, so I just thought I'd pass it along for your information.
Study's not adding up to me.
Okay. Well, we got to run. We're out of time, so
Already, we're having so much fun.
But thank you very much for listening in. Sue, thanks for coming in today.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and happy. May you all have the best in the new year.
All right. Keep the wood glue away from the
Yep. I'm going to continue trying to get back in that little hamster cage.
spin that wheel.
Spin that wheel, baby.
All right. And Bob Lotta, thanks for coming in.
thank you for inviting me, and I think Sue's wishes for the good year are very appropriate.
That's right.
Thanks. Hope to see you both for a long time.
All right. This is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a great day. And stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember this coming your way at 9:30 right here on ON Radio?
Wednesday, the 49th annual Penguin Plunge yesterday at Scarborough State Beach was just one of many, but it raised more than $160,000, we're told, for Special Olympics Rhode Island. Hundreds took the plunge to raise money so children and adults with intellectual disabilities can take part in athletic training and competition programs. Special Olympics. Organizers say they hope to reach their fundraising goal of $180,000 by the end of this month. Up on Beacon Hill in Boston, Massachusetts state legislative leaders are pledging to be a more efficient and transparent body in the new session. Members of the House and Senate were sworn in yesterday, and Ron Mariano reelected as House Speaker. Karen Spilka selected to continue as Senate President in Massachusetts. Mariano and Spilka together said that the session that they just finished the day before was historically productive, and they're committed to building on that work. The leaders say they will also step up when necessary and challenge the incoming Trump administration federally. Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now,